Speaking of burning down things, got these dragons up here, Martin. And I was telling Martin at the beginning of the show, look, we've been trying to to train these dragons for 3 goddamn movies. Now we got something got to give. Either they're gonna learn to behave, or we got to let them go, or something. You know, this has got to end.
And I believe it's your destiny to one day find this hidden world.
Can't trust this guy for nothing, man. Shit, I knew he was lying when he said he went to dtmerch.com, got one of them shirts. No, he didn't. I knew he didn't get that Kung Fu TJ shirt like he said. Oh, we got that classic black tee with the white logo. I'm not going to lie to you, man. All this stuff is good up in here. Please help us out here to keep these shows going for you, these live streams, these programs. You know we do that with your support, and that is why I implore you to go to doubletoasted.com and subscribe, donate, whatever you can do to help us provide the toasty goodness for the people out there. You know, Jurassic Park, they eat dinosaurs eating everybody. These dragons nice. They living side by side, but there's always some asshole that has to hunt them down for a trophy or their pride or ego. And
3 movies in a row.
3 movies in a row. That's why they finally said, you know, hey, dragons, it ain't y'all, it's us.
It's us.
We got to end this. We got to break up. And don't, we ain't just going to put y'all out in the cold. We're going to find a place for you, a hidden world. And that's why a lot of people are dreading one of the greatest cinematic love stories of all time, Hiccup and Toothless. Is this the one where Hiccup and Toothless will actually have to say goodbye, split up each other for the well-being of everyone? Let's go ahead and, you know what? And even if that's the case, damn, boy, I remember when these movies used to be fun. Now y'all getting kind of deep, kind of making me feel a little heartbreak. Is that good or bad? Does it even happen? Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for How to Drain.
Bro.
I got, man.
Yeah. I don't want to look at your search history.
Well, Martin, I have a script for a porn version of this.
I think you're too late.
Got to stop doing that. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
Another night fury.
It's more like a bright
A light fury.
Yeah, yours is better, probably.
You know, that's what I love about this. It gets to a point where Toothless just looks at Hiccup and say, are we fucking?
Right? Is the answer no?
Is the answer no?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. You mean there's something out there that wants this? Goddamn right, I'm leaving your ass.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
You know I was just around because you would feed me. We were never really friends, right?
So, what are you gonna do about it?
Suit up, gang. We have one shot at this. You brought a baby to a battle? I couldn't find a sitter.
From the very beginning, I did not mind Jay Baruchel. I did not mind his voice.
You know what? I gotta say that this is the first time I didn't either.
This is the first time. I mean, you know, because for the last 2 movies, here's the thing. I can never take. Maybe in the first movie when we meet him, and he's a nobody,
right?
Still kind of the nerdy outcast of the village.
It kind of works, even though it's a bit grating.
Yeah, but you know we got Jay. You know Jay Baruchel sounds like he's always talking through his nose, and I could never take him as a leader, man. I could never take him seriously as a leader. So when he was on the come up at the end of that movie, and by the second one where everybody's listening to him, I couldn't buy that. I couldn't buy that at all. But this, you know, and especially with that name, man, you know, Hiccup.
Yeah.
It's like, brother,
but that sounds like a slur. Like, yeah, this is because we don't respect you, so we call you Hiccup.
Yeah, Hiccup. Hiccup ain't a leader's name. You a sidekick. Hiccup ain't even a human sidekick's name. That's like the comedy relief dog, you know, in a Disney movie. I mean, don't you ever tell me what to do coming up here talking like this. Yeah. Now, see, what we're going to do is, now, what you going to do is get the fuck away from me and shut up. Turn your narrow ass around and mind your own goddamn business. That's what you going to do. Coming up here talking, I mean, like this. You going to leave me the fuck alone is what you going to do.
God damn, man.
I didn't like it. The movies.
I didn't like it either, but goddamn.
Look, because the thing is, I know it's all part of the joke.
Right.
But it wasn't funny anymore. By the time the second movie came around, You need to be a leader, man. Time for you to, first of all, change your name. It ain't Hiccup. No, I don't care what your name. Change it to Hiccup, the Dragon Master, or some shit. But you can't be taken seriously with Hiccup, and you sure can't be taken seriously talking like this. Be a man. Be a leader. You gonna do it. You leading dragons.
Put some bass in your voice.
Put some bass in your voice. Here, Hiccup, he actually, okay, the name ain't changed, but you know what I liked about the character and the writing in this movie is that by the time we get to the third film, and if you take a little bit of the second one, the character really does evolve.
Well, you know what? It's one of those things where with the second movie, they kill off his father, the leader. So he has to ascend to that point.
Yeah, no, he has to actually step up, man. And they do a great job by making him mature. And when you make him mature, you actually have evolved the character. However, they also were able to keep a lot of his humor side there too. You know, it wasn't like they abandoned that completely. And in having him evolve and mature and being a leader, they also made him somewhat of a badass.
You're a demon! No, I'm not a demon. I'm not a demon. See? Just a guy.
Okay, now you just had to ruin it.
See, that's what I thought too, because it started out, I was like, all right, he's a badass now. But he was never a badass when he didn't turn around and do something like that.
Dude,
no, I'm not a demon. It's like, your enemies are scared of you. That's the whole point. Go with it.
Yeah, everything that I just did, just building him up, he just completely ruined. I just told the people. Shit, boy, y'all don't know. This ain't the same Hiccup y'all knew back in the day. Shit, tell them, man. No, I'm still the same dude. Shut up, man. Fuck him.
He still looks like a Ken doll. I mean, even like later when he's got his facial hair, I was like, all right, now you look like a Ken doll with a beard. He kind of looked like Kenny Loggins, actually.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what he looked like.
Danger Zone.
I'm gonna find a Kenny Loggins. Yeah, he did. But for those who don't know, the kids who don't know Kenny Loggins.
Oh man, you kids don't know Kenny Loggins?
Here, I'm gonna show you what he looked like. Cause they tried to actually mature him with that beard, and when he actually, like in the pictures, he looks kind of cool, but when he takes off that pimp coat and that he looks like a cracked out Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right, he does. He does.
Well, Spider-Man sees me. Yeah, he's gonna laugh his ass off.
Everything you're saying is what I was thinking the whole time, but I was like, I know nobody's thinking less.
No, I'm thinking it. I'm right there with, man. You know we look at things that people don't see. However, you're talking about, look, we were talking about how in the movie he does step up, man.
He does.
And that after that scene right there, you really do get moments where it's when the character has to make decisions. I mean, you know, I thought it was cool that they kept the character kind of the character that we know from the other movies. They didn't try too hard.
Right.
They didn't make him do push-ups and get all, big biceps and everything. No,
would have been nice though. I mean, he's a Viking dragon rider. You think he could, bulk up a little bit to fit the part.
I know. If I was a Viking, I'd tell him, man, like if I was his dad, I was like, you adopted, right? You didn't come from
like,
this.
This is not gonna work.
No, hell no.
I'm not leaving my kingdom to
your little
this.
narrow ass did not come from this sack right here. No.
You know why they call you Hiccup, right?
Yeah. Well, I always wanted a little girl. They played with the character where they did not force him to be too masculine to actually be who he is. They really did say like leadership comes in how you think,
right?
Your smarts and also your confidence. Because I've always liked that about the movie, that against all these other big Vikings, all these other big characters, all these other manly men out there and manly women. I mean, let's get really every girl in the village could beat his ass too,
easily.
But it's the it's the confidence that he has, and I like that. And it actually shows. You actually believe that when he's telling people what they need to do, it's out of not because they can overpower him, but because they can respect him. And I really enjoyed the
it's because he's smart.
Yeah, exactly. No, I really enjoyed this version of the character that we had here.
Nothing's accidental when it comes to old Grimmel. Don't underestimate him, Hiccup. Mark my words, he'll be back.
Then we'll be waiting for him.
Oh, you hear that? Now you got some bass up in there. They won't be waiting for him. Look, for him,
I know. He's a bit overconfident in a lot of these scenes, actually.
But at least he tried, man.
Well, we'll be waiting.
Look, he got he mean mugging everything. Well, we'll be waiting on him.
Right.
You know it hurt for him to do that.
Drop his head to give the stare. Yeah. We'll be waiting for him.
I'm not talking through my nose now. Well, actually, yeah, you are. But being a leader is not just brute force. Mm-hmm. It's about thinking things through it. And I like the way people respected him in that. Yeah. I even like the way he was, man. I even like the way he was when he showed a tough side. He kept his humor. And I like the scenes that he had with his girl, who's voiced by what's her name, American Ferrera?
Oh, yeah.
America Ferrera. There was there's a few scenes where they're sitting around and flirting with each other and they're playing around, and I liked it because it feels like a real couple, in the early stages of love, a courtship and whatnot. I thought that it felt like, for animated characters, man, it felt like an actual interaction between two people, especially, when you consider these are two animated characters in a very fantastical setting.
Sure.
I like that they brought Gerard Butler back.
Me too, because I was actually upset that they killed him off in the second movie.
Yeah, I was too, but
it's okay for him to have two parents. Why you got to do that?
Actually, I can through this movie made me see why they probably killed him off. But there were a lot of scenes in there. Well, not a lot, but there's two flashback scenes, and those scenes are with Little Hiccup and his dad, again, who's voiced by Gerard Butler, and those scenes were very moving, man. And when I looked at that, I thought, you know what, with the evolution that you've done with this character and making this character more likable, it even made the flashbacks, they even pulled me in a little bit more. And it's just, it's just really cool to see like this big, strong man just take his guard down for his son. I mean, there's moments where he just kisses him on the head, he hugs him. I was looking at that, and I was, and really, man, that right there, they talk about, you talk about looking at scenes that bring out motherhood. I was like, shit, I'm gonna go home and make a baby tonight. I want to be a daddy.
Those are scary.
Don't you worry. One day I'll find the hidden world and seal it up, so that people and dragons will fight no more.
Boy, daddy instincts kicked in hard after that, especially when there were these girls behind me, and they were like, every time they showed Little Hiccup, they were, oh, and I said, shut the fuck up.
I tell you what, why don't you go watch the first movie again, where he spends the whole time looking at his son going, oh my God, what a disappointment.
I know.
Hiccup, Jesus, man, could you help out? Put those gadgets away and come help us fight. You know what? Forget it.
Oh yeah. There was so much disappointment. I like the way, and you know what? You look at this and it's so sad too, because you could see there was so much hope in his eyes.
I know, so much promise.
He's like, my son's going to grow up big and strong like me. 10 years later,
hey, Dad! What do you think about my schematics?
Oh, fuck.
Fuck me life.
Yeah. I'm glad we had some tender moments in there with his dad and his girl, because while he was getting serious, everybody else had nothing but jokes.
Yeah, and not the Guardians of the Galaxy type jokes. These are the lame-o, just whatever gags we can throw together. You know, the thing is that first movie, I really love that first movie, except for two things. Mm-hmm. And that being Jay Baruchel's voice, as we've covered. But the other was the side characters. Because I was like, man, every one of these side characters are just afterthoughts. And they just thought, well, we'll get comedians to do their voices. Kristen Wiig, T.J. Miller, Jonah Hill. And that'll fill it in. And I always notice, that's the one thing about that first movie, where they just really put no work into these side characters. But at least they're on for just a little bit. And they're just kind of annoying, but whatever. But now in this movie, they're half the movie. And I was just like, all right, I can't take it with these guys.
And the problem with the side characters is that they're all there for funny, not even just reactions.
No.
They're there for funny comments. No matter how bad something happens, no matter how much they mess up, they always respond, "Whoa, did you see that?" You know, they're clueless about everything.
And they're anachronistic. They don't fit the time period.
They you know, and I'm okay with that because Disney, you know, I mean, a lot of family films, characters act like the, you know, like it's not unusual for characters to act like out of their time periods, to not even have the same accents in the region that they're in. I mean, if that was the case, then everybody in the Jungle Book would be talking like that from Wakanda. You know?
Well, no, Jungle Book's in India.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Wakanda's in Africa.
You're right. No matter what danger is about, they don't have they don't have a proper reaction to it.
Right.
Everything, like either they're in danger or they're causing danger, and the whole time they're like, "Whoa." Or they got something yo, Hiccup, check it out, man. You know, it's like that. No one is ever in fear about something.
Mm-hmm.
No one is ever treating the danger with urgency.
Right, and that's what gives your danger that urgency is how people react to it. And if you get people who are glib or seem to not be focused on it or oblivious to it, it takes the teeth out of it.
Yeah, you know, and I get it, man. You know, it's almost like they're making these characters this silly because they want to keep things from getting too scary. They do have some intense scenes. I mean, you're messing with dragons, and in this movie, you know, when the villain comes about, not only does he have his own dragons, but I mean, he has some badass dragons he's got. They
spit acid.
They have scorpion tails and they spit acid, and they just leave destruction wherever they go. You know, there's a lot of destruction going on around these characters, and I think kids because this is still a family film. And it's a kid's film mostly, more than a family film in a lot of parts. And they want to keep, you know, and it's a silly kids film too. They want to keep a certain air of silliness in there to let the kids know it's going to be okay. You know, it's going to be fine. Even for a kids movie, I like to feel like there is at least a small moment of suspense in there. But if your characters, they just got chuckles and they cracking jokes in every scene, even when the villain's around, well, I guess ain't nothing wrong. Y'all laughing.
Matter of fact, it seemed to be infectious because not only did you have those characters who were the comedy reliefs from the earlier movies as comedy reliefs now, but even a bunch of the Viking warriors just seemed like they were, I don't know, oafs and comedy reliefs and clueless. And it turns into one of those things, and it happens in Disney movies a lot, where all the comedy relief characters have to fight off the invading army, and somehow they got these skills, but they're able to beat people with pots and pans or just bumping into them, and it's always like they're beating them by accident, which makes you go like, oh, I guess these henchmen weren't that bad, weren't badasses to begin with. Yeah. And that happens in this all the time, almost every fight.
I don't want to be mean-spirited here. I hate to say it, but some of these characters are stupid. They need to die.
Yeah.
That you were jeopardizing the whole village, the whole community. Yeah. You need to go. And I'm not even playing. There's this one scene in here where somebody, excuse my language, they fuck up majorly.
Majorly.
And
couldn't be any less concerned.
And nobody even turns around. There's not one moment that's like, what the hell is wrong with you? No, they're just kind of like, oh, well, that's your character. You know, it's what you do. You do stupid shit. I will say some of the humor worked well in some parts. I mean, when it was meant to be silly. Like I was laughing at what's his name? He was fat. Now he's kind of he goes between being sexy and fat sometimes.
Oh, Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill, man. His character was Snout Cloud or whatever. I don't know why they made him that big because he's actually the shortest one in the village.
Right.
I love that he really did have the short man's complex. Everybody was taller than him. He was just like a little chihuahua, always pointing at him. I'm watching you, and people just like, get the fuck out of here. You know, he just cast him aside
and trying to hit on Hiccup's mom the whole time.
Well, can you blame him?
No, I cannot. I cannot.
Got the voice of Kate Blanchett, and the body of every fine chick out there. It's like, yeah, man. It's like that's Hiccup's mom.
I know.
It was funny the way he was hitting on his mom. I thought that they could push that a little bit more.
They could have.
Yeah.
I there's little things like that where I was like, you could have pushed this more, if you weren't juggling 13 different plot lines.
If you weren't doing all these plot lines. And even the villain, man, I gotta say, when the villain came in, I thought Grimmo the Grizzly, who was voiced by F. Murray Abraham. He's like,
you goddamn right.
Yeah, ladies. You like what you hear? I gotta say, when the character first came in, he starts out cool. He's got a cool look. He's got a very, very cool and menacingly swagger to him, man. And I like the design. He kind of looks like a cross between, I finally just figured it out. I was like, who does he look like? He looks like a cross between Hades from Hercules and Billy Idol. You put those two together. I love the design on that character, man. But even after a while, he was just a stock boo-ha-ha villain.
Man, every one of these movies, it's somebody who's got a hard-on for dragons that's coming after them. I was like, yo, I feel like we're getting the same villain every time. He just switches costumes and comes back.
When he starts out, he's like a Bond villain. Like he's sitting in the dark when Hiccup comes in. He's like, "Good evening, Mr. Hiccup." Always got that light in the darkness. He's smoking something. But he comes in. He's very menacing. But after a while, once he starts hooking up with those other side characters and that silly shit kicks in, then the silliness affects him too. And after a while, like you say, he just becomes a more of an opposing presence. A force of nature than an actual character.
Yeah, he's something they have to deal with.
To defeat. Exactly. I gotta tell you, man, these movies have always been known for that. Like, the first one, they said, okay, you know what? This is the first How to Train Your Dragon. This is one of the few movies that I've seen where I don't mind watching it in 3D.
Oh, yeah, no. Of all the movies I've seen, it's one of the best for the scenes where the dragon is flying. It's rare to see 3D work better than that.
But this one, man, this not only has, again, great flying scenes, but just beautiful environments, beautiful imagery. When they get to the hidden world, which they're showing you right here in the trailers, I'm not spoiling anything, it is gorgeous, man. So, the colors are so vibrant. I wish I had been able to see something like this on an IMAX screen when they go there. It's amazing. It's almost too much when I say scope, because they got scenes in here where every movie, they just increase the numbers of dragons.
Right.
Because Hiccup keeps bringing back more dragons. And it's at the point now where the village, it just looked like flies buzzing around shit.
I know. I was like, wait, didn't we start off where there was barely any dragons?
Yeah.
And now we got a dragon infestation.
It's almost like they're pests.
Yeah.
They're
vermin, because they're gonna consume resources. And you don't have enough to satisfy all this.
No, somebody got to pull Hiccup aside and say, man, we got to start eating some of these motherfuckers. We got to spay and neuter at least.
Oh, no, we have plenty of sheep over the... Oh, I see.
No, they're eating people now. Yeah. I mean, they took my wife. That was cool. But, man, we got to do something. They might get me. But the scope of the number of dragons that they have in this is amazing. When you see these scenes where it's just... It's overstuffed almost with dragon characters of so many different type of species. It's an incredible sight. Visually it's busy, and usually when you say something is visually busy, that's a criticism.
Not here.
But not here. No, it's busy in the sense that it's always giving me something to look at.
Yeah,
always. The musical score with this is something that I really enjoyed because it went with the scope of some of the scenes. It's a very sweeping score. And I forgot the name of the composer. John Powell. Thank you. Thank you, my man. Jesus, this guy and his fucking jokes, man. No, John Powell did a great score to fit the imagery here, man. And I really loved it, man. I was so scared that when I saw these characters, it was going to get wacky and wackier, this score. No, it stays to the imagery. It stays to the environments and the scenery. And I will say this, the animation is incredible. I don't know if they had a motion capture involved in this, but the physical acting of these characters, right down to the body movements to the facial expressions, I thought that they were so expressive. That's one of the reasons why I love the design of Griswold, whatever his name, Grimley.
Yeah, there's something
Grimmel.
about him that reminds me of those Rankin Bass stop motion animation characters.
Yeah, you're right, man. You know what it is? A lot of those, if you ever watch any of these stop motion Rankin Bass features from our shows from back in the day, they always exaggerated people's faces. They were either very round or they were very long like that.
And just that look in his eye and everything, the smile.
There's one scene while it's animated very well. It's toothless in the new what's the Spitfire or the
Night Fury.
like Night Fury that they have, the female Night Fury. They have a sequence where the mating dance or the courting sequence, and it just kind of goes on and on.
Yes, it does.
I mean, this is a long scene, and at this point, I was just sitting there, just like, man, y'all need to get a room or something, because this scene.
Yeah,
is,
you gonna fuck her or not? Because you about to get friend zoned. You keep on with these theatrics,
I
these
know.
shenanigans.
It was going on. It was going on so long. I almost started to break this up. He got a woman. He got a girlfriend already. Going out of here.
Yeah, it went on too long, but also, it's been bugging me. But I know I've seen that somewhere before. Not exactly that, but something with our character who's not human meeting the female and having the whole dance ritual and like, oh man, you're blowing it. You got to get it together. I wish I could just lock onto which movie it is.
Well,
or movies.
yeah.
It's probably been done multiple times.
What you know what it reminds me of? I've seen movies that stop with animation set pieces. Some of you might not know what I'm talking about. I might bring up some old references, but I'll bring up a couple anyway. One you might know and one you might not. Sometimes when they stop, it's for the animators to have fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works. If you remember the Wizard's Duel from Sword in the Stone,
Sure.
it was just a sequence for the animators
Yeah,
to
it
have
has nothing.
fun.
Yeah, it didn't need to be in the movie other than it was cool.
The other one is another Disney movie, Pocahontas. They had a scene where the dog was chasing the raccoon, and the movie just stopped to let them just have this little bit of funny business.
Yeah.
Because I almost think the animators just had some ideas for some cool animation. And that's what this seemed like. It would fit. It started out kind of cool because, hey, this mating dance is funny. But then they just kept going and going with it. I'm thinking, all right, now it's an animated sequence now. It's not really for the audience.
I felt like they were hoping if we keep doing something, we'll figure it out. we'll get a good one, even though it takes a lot to animate all that.
To me, I was saying, man, look, if she ain't gonna fuck you now, she ain't gonna do it at all.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Just give it up, man. We'll move on to something else.
This girl's playing you.
Yeah.
I actually did have that feeling through a lot of it. I was like, she playing you, man.
Yeah.
She working for that dude.
Yeah. I have to say that it is the emotional arc of the movie that got me. It is that it's that and how it follows through with the theme. One of the things I did love about this is that being the third movie, it followed through with its theme, even though it's a silly, family film leaning towards mostly a kids movie. It followed through with the theme to its difficult end. And you could probably guess what's happening. I'm not going to spell it out for you. But the theme of these movies have always been loss. Loss has been Hiccup in the first one, doesn't have his mother. Got his mother back in the second one, but lost his father. It's always been about loss, mainly for Hiccup. And now
Lost a leg.
he even lost a limb. And now this is dealing with probably the hardest thing for him to have to do. I think that's going to get a lot of people, and that's how, and they know what they're doing. That's why they ended the movie with this, because it will, for a lot of people, put a lump in their throats. I was looking at this, and it's like, man, I don't even hang around these two that much, and I'm gonna miss this. Look, maybe I wasn't the hugest fan of How to Train Your Dragon, but there was comfort knowing that Hiccup and Toothless had each other, and I like that they saw it through to the bittersweet end. I'm not as drawn into the movie as I would like to be, but for the parts that did draw me in, those were the parts that really counted. I did get some really good, deep moments in here, and I did laugh at some of the moments they wanted to. I just think that it was missing this is just a little bit of suspense, just some. So therefore, I can't go a full price, but I can give it a strong matinee. I still think it works great for kids. I still think, for adults, there's going to be moments in there. Like I said, it will pull after your heart, and it will work in those most important moments.
The Hidden World is beautiful and it's really impressive. I so wish we could have spent more time there because, I mean, you get to it and you're like, all right, money shot. This is what this is all about. You're not there for very long. Everything else, I was like, man, yeah, there's no suspense because of how they undercut it, but also almost every element of this movie, story-wise and just writing-wise, I'm like, yeah, this was taken from this movie. This came from that. Every part of this was just so predictable. Who said, like, yeah, not as good as the first one, but better than the second one. I'm like, I don't know if it was better than the second one. I like that it wasn't just a remake of the first one because it was doing some different things, but it's different things just from other movies. Too much time on the side characters that wasn't well planned. It's very sequel-y, except that they were like, hey, but it doesn't matter as long as we're going to show a beautiful lost world and we're going to stick the landing with, you know, the inevitable conclusion, which they do. They know how to tie a bow on it, and that's fine for them. I found it to be not all that pleasurable of an experience. It's a low matinee for me.
Low man, you have a way with.
I know.
Well, no, I'm saying that's good. You surprised me because I was like, that sounded like a rental.
I take it back. For me, it is a rental. It's a high rental, but considering that it is a kids movie that is doing a good job of targeting its audience. It's not working on me at all, but I respect that you're getting that reaction. That's the reason I'm giving it a low matinee. Also, it is that kind of movie where, look, if you're going to go see it, it should be in a theater where it's big because it has a big scope.
Yep, you're definitely right about that. Did you have fun? Well, it doesn't need to stop. Press that subscribe button, and to continue the fun even more, go to our main website, doubletoasted.com. Over there, you'll find a longer form version of this video and also the live streams that we do almost every night of the week. Support us at dtmerch.com. And remember to always stay toasty.